Toilet paper out of stock. There's friendly faces around the block. Break loose from the chains that are causing you pain. Call Michael.
Omelette and Eerie. Ichiban and Granny.
Call
Omelette and Eerie.
for your business paper needs.
Ichiban Holdings.
People person.
Yes, we're in a lovely tie and shirt today. Why? Because we are business. John Business. Ichiban Kusaga Industries, in fact, Ichiban Holdings, is well underway. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Yakuza Like a Dragon, where I spent, according to my dashboard, 6 hours, 37 minutes yesterday playing a minigame. And I had the best time. I had the best time. And I haven't finished yet. And I'm going to play more of it today. Because I'm going to finish it. And I'm going to be so sad when it's over. Because I'm going to have to go back to the awesome MSQ. Despair. Total despair. If you played this game, you know this thing exists. If you haven't played this game, as I said yesterday, more people are picking up this game than I've ever seen, really, in a game we've streamed. Because it's only $10, which is ridiculous. It's like 40% off right now. There is a minigame that I stumbled upon where we had Eri, who came to us at the end of our final little stream there. And Eri was like, oh, we need you to run Ichiban confections like this. And then it turned out this is a whole game buried within the game, which is just a business management simulator game. And it's done so stupidly well. It's a combination of... It's everything I wanted out of Ace Attorney, where Ace Attorney really dragged for me in certain areas where it was like, oh, this isn't quite what I'm... It's missing something. It's dragging. The pacing was all over the place. The pacing of this is so nicely done that you want to spend time in between each of your decisions, like really weighing things up. And they add a stress level to it where you're like, okay, we've got time limits. So I'll break it down for you a little bit if you haven't played it, is that you have this ailing business where Eri, who was the CEO, has made terrible decisions over the last 3 years. She's been duped, she's been hoodwinked, and now she's lost everything. What was once a thriving empire is now at the bottom. You have low stock value, your shareholders are obviously not happy, and you're down to a single store from this empire that is run down, half-arsed, and just crap in this little office above. We'll get to that in a second. And you need to fix it. That's it. You need to fix it. And so you then go back to Nick. Nick was somebody who appeared... I actually forgot about Nick, but Nick appeared in the first, like, half hour of this game. And Nick taught us how to use a mobile phone, but clearly was a man of means, had some wealth behind him, and was just looking for wacky, cool things to get involved in. And so you're like, maybe Nick would invest in the company to get us started. So you call Nick, and Nick's like, all right, I'm going to invest 50 million yen into the company, but I need something out of you. I need you in 4 weeks or 4 periods, you need to get the stock value out of up to like a reasonable corporation and things like that. Okay, so that's your first goal. And how does this work? Well, there's properties you can buy. You can upgrade the properties, and then you manage the staff and employees based on their stats. So there are a lot like trading cards. There's rares, there's super rares, there's base cards, commons, all that kind of stuff. To get these employees in, they all have a bit of history. They can be leveled up. They can be trained. They need promotions when they hit certain levels. That means their salaries are going to go up, which is more overhead. And you need to meet certain criteria of each building in order to have it running optimally. So it will show you like, oh, well, you need good service, good product, and things like, and good notability so people are aware of you. But those values will be different depending on the building that you pick up. And then you need to like match up the employees. There's then trends. So certain managers will prefer certain types of industry to run or certain types of buildings because you're going to diversify. You want nightlife, you want pachinko machines, you want karaoke machines, you want supermarkets, you want things like that. And you're going to start balancing your books while also every period, every quarter, you're going to have a shareholders meeting, which turns into a whole mini game in and of itself, where you need to counter arguments. You get a limit break that you could use during. So there's like a combat element to it as well. And it's just, it happens at such a rapid pace because you only get like 4 periods before the next shareholder meeting. And then you need to figure out certain people are good for your board. You have to choose your board to deal with the shareholders. And you have like a chicken who's a director. The chicken is a director because the chicken actually has really good stats, because you need to bear in mind what their attack value is and how much they cost to attack, and break shields, which have counter of colors like Pokemon. All this stuff. Over the course of 7 hours, I took that company. We're now in the top 20 most valuable companies in Yokohama. And it has these weird, stupid twists. Like, at a certain point, Nick's like, okay, I need you to get even better. I'm going to invest like 100 million yen or 150 million yen so you can grow and purchase bigger businesses. And that means you have to sell previous businesses and then and do that kind of stuff. But I need you to move office. And I was joking because it was really it's obviously done this way as a cliche, is the Eri and her grandmother or mother, whoever she is, are like, don't you worry about Ichiban. We'll go and buy the property. We'll take care of it for you. And I was like, oh, this is so classic, which is what they're going for. Is like the women are going to go spend the money and I'm going to get stuck with the bill, which is exactly how it plays out. Exactly like that. I was like, I see what they're doing here. And then you get the bill and they've spent, I think it's 100 billion yen. And bought a high-rise building. The whole building. I'm like, what are we doing? We own like 4 businesses. We need a small office to operate 4 businesses. That's it. We need a staff of like 5 maybe in order to operate this industry, right? And get it, because we're just managing. That's all we're doing. We're not producing anything. We're managing properties. That's all we're doing. And changing the name to Ichiban Holdings because we now own karaoke bars and things like that. And I was like, what? And we have this ridiculous high-rise building now. And I was like, are we going to rent some of this building space out? Like, and start recouping? Nope. And now your bills are through the roof. And now you've got to sort that out. What a joy. What an absolute joy this was. I didn't do any of the main story at all. Like, my main story literally took me here and had fun with that. So that's what I wanted to tell you. Is like, I've done this and had fun. But I did want to touch on, because I forgot to do it yesterday, only briefly, on why this is okay with guys in diapers, public pissers, stupid summons of crawfish, Nancy the crawfish. But I didn't like Persona because it's like, it's the same thing, right? No, not at all. I didn't like a couple of things I didn't like Persona. First of all, one of them was the combat pacing. It's very slow in Persona. Now, I've talked about this a couple of times where people are like, well, it was an older game. I think it was PS3 era. And they needed those longer animations and things because they were loading a lot of stuff off much slower hardware than we have today. And so getting into combat was kind of a chore. I seem to remember it being like maybe 10, 15 seconds of cinematics and then endings and stuff like that. And then capturing if you wanted to do. And it got kind of laborious for me. Like, certainly when you're running into random encounters on the street, I was like, this is... It's becoming a bit of a chore being in combat to the point. I know I'm feeling that when part of my brain is like, I would like to avoid combat at this point because it's kind of a bummer to run into it. It's one of those things that like drags a game down for me. And secondarily, I didn't like the sexual stuff in this game is so absurd and ridiculous that it's played entirely for laughs, and there's actually zero like actual sexuality going on in it. There's zero. I'm not a prude by any means, but I don't like constant sexual undertones, certainly towards, underage or just of age girls. I don't like it at all. I don't like it. It is part of my age because I'm not friends, but obviously with being in parents and circles, there's a lot of like young girls floating around. I don't like when I see, and I do see, a lot of guys like creeping on these girls who are like 16, 17 years old, right, in the UK. And I really don't like it. And I see it all the time. I see it in the gym every single day. And I see it all there. And I'm like, it just creeps me out, man. Like 40 and 50-year-old guys who are like leering and stuff. And I don't like playing games that have that kind of stuff in either. Like, especially when like romance is a big core part of the game, which it is in Persona. Like, you can romance a lot of people. Teachers, whatever, and they have like, the doctor wearing the stockings. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but that's the stuff I don't like. Over here, with just complete absurdity, I don't think Ichiban has a sexual thought in his fucking body. Like, at all. In any way, no matter what. We're constantly going from like brothel to whorehouse and all this kind of stuff. And even when it seems like someone's trying to get romantic in any way, Ichiban just doesn't recognize it in any way. It's just not a part of who he is. It's it's just constant, relentless, over-the-top ridiculousness taken to the extreme, to the point that it's just comedy and it's just fun and it's very lighthearted, and that's a totally different genre for me. So I just wanted to touch on that because people are like, I see it as the same thing. Okay, I don't. And there it is. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't see it that way. So right now, I think that the business thing is coming to an end. We have to get number 1, and we're at number 23, something like that. And I'm going to be sad when it comes to an end and I have to take the old tie off. I'm going to be sad. I am going to be sad. But what a joy to find a minigame like this. I think someone said every Yakuza game has something like this in it. That's like their big minigame. Like, they have minigames all the way throughout, but this is like their big one. I imagine sometimes it's hit and miss as to whether it'll land. And when I was talking to Nupps, who's played the hell out of this, and was one of the chief pushers of this one, like, Bex was like, we should go for the pirate game, which we'll probably do later. He was like, if I didn't want to mention this existed in any way, shape, or form, because the thought of doing like Business Simulator might have been obnoxious if it was described to you. It's better that you just experience it and see how you feel. But he was like, I'm so happy, because when he discovered it, he said he was playing about 10 p.m. and then he looked at the clock and it was 5 a.m. Like, fully invested into this stupid, silly, pointless mini game. And now I'm of the idea that I will run the number 1 most valuable company in all of Yokohama, and I still live in a seedy brothel with 2 other guys, essentially borderline homeless. I actually think I haven't even been paying attention to the salary I've been getting for doing this stuff. I think I'm a millionaire now. And I'll still live in this place. And that's kind of the summary of Ichiban, is he doesn't see the world that way. He was born in a brothel. This is no big deal to him, like, at all. Like, he doesn't need luxury. He doesn't need fine dining and fancy watches or anything along those lines. He doesn't need any of that. He's just getting on with what he's got to get done, and where he sleeps is just where he puts his head down. He doesn't care where it is, and his real worth value is nothing compared to like fighting for justice and being the hero, right? It's just such a secondary concern to him, and I love this. I love that I will be the number 1 president of a corporation in all of Yokohama. Where do you live? I live in this like box by the river, on a mattress covered in jizz. That's where I live, and I love it. I love it. Still having the best time. So we'll probably have some more MSQ for you tomorrow. Unless the last 20 takes ages. In which case, I'm not going to be mad either. So we'll see. Bye, guys.